We were caught. It's lucky there's nobody in the chat. It's lucky there's not a soul out there looking at us.
It's like
Even everybody else going.
It's a good job I can see what we were doing.
I know.
But you
Good
still like that
evening.
to me.
No. Good evening, everybody.
That was the
Hi.
music dance.
That was. Yeah, jazz hands. Oh, good evening, Annette. Annette's in. Annette, you are the first and probably the only one that will be on tonight.
Woo!
So good
Hey,
evening
Annette.
to you, Annette. I hope you're doing well.
I'll share this out, shall I?
Yeah. First of all, how did your week go? Did you have a good week?
Yes.
Me?
All of you.
Yes.
Good.
So.
Any exciting news?
Yes, Lois has gone to university.
Yay!
She posh.
I'm not posh. It's through the college, but it's first year of uni.
Don't matter.
I'm not that.
You did nearly catch us, Annette. You really nearly did. That's good. It's good that you go to university. And what are you studying?
Counselling.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah. So I'll be able to understand you, Dan. So if you ever want to lie on my couch, I'll take some notes.
I've lied on many couches and sent them all to Lally. How about you, Viv? How did your week go? How did your week unfold?
I've been busy this week. I've been out and about yesterday, taking lots of pictures and doing some recce's for Dan more than anything. What else did I do? I can't remember. I can only remember yesterday.
It was only the beginning of the week yesterday, wasn't it? What did you do at the weekend? Did you do anything at the weekend?
I went to see my mum.
Oh, how is your mum?
Doing all right?
I saw my mum. It's my stepfather's 82nd birthday tomorrow.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, happy birthday.
So I went and saw him and gave him his birthday presents and took his birthday lunch round, that sort of thing. So,
well, big happy birthday to Joe there. Good, excellent. That's wonderful. 83 years young, eh? Fantastic.
Yeah.
I bet he's still a handful, isn't he?
Oh, it's a pain in the bum, he is, honestly. He's got the body of a pensioner, but the mind of a young man still.
Yeah, I think we're all like that.
So he still thinks he can go out and do this, that and the other. And he said to me, I had a bottle of speckled hen the other day. Just one bottle, mind. He said, and I was pissed. I said, well, good for you. I said, that's you were on a cheap night then, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
He couldn't understand it. So.
Good.
It's good going to uni, and I'll make sure you find this. I'm having first year's fresher.
First year's fresher. Do they still do them things at uni? They are where they go out and drinking and they call it a rally or something. Each student, I don't know what it is.
I don't know, but I'll invite you along. You could be
I'll go along. I'll be the oldest student there.
Is it like a student union bar or something they have?
Yeah, they do a thing as well. Is it not Freshers Week? It's something else, isn't it? Where they all go out and they get. I don't even know if they do it now. That might be an old thing. But they used to go out drinking and run around the streets dressed up and just generally get drunk, which is really unusual for university students to get drunk. I mean, they very rarely spend their finances on booze, do they?
Well, see, now since you brought up the topic, that's given me a wild idea.
Uh-oh.
You don't need to be given ideas. You got enough of your own.
Aye, but you're like my Buddha. You're like my guy that keeps me on the wrong path.
Oh, like the little angel, little devil.
Yeah.
On each shoulder. Right, now we've cleared that up. So, yes, and I didn't have a bad week either. I didn't do anything, but I've had a good week. And as I say, I kind of went by proxy to Roll Right Stones yesterday because Viv took me there and she showed me around using a camera.
There is a picture. There is a picture up on Facebook
of you holding me in a phone, and we're both smiling or grinning like lunatics. But yeah, it's very good. Hi, Mary. I hope you're doing well.
Hey, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary. Hope everything's good your end. So this evening we were going to talk about roadside ghosts and hitchhiking ghosts. I believe that's the order of the day, isn't it?
Ooh.
So does
Yeah.
anybody want to kick that off? I've got obviously a story about a roadside ghost. Well, I think it was a ghost, but I keep wheeling it out every other week because I think people have heard it, so they're not going to hear it again.
Okay, so I'll kick it off then.
You kick it off.
So when I was younger, very, very young, I'm talking in single-digit figures, I had an issue at my house where I would see and hear ghosts, basically. I don't know what they were, and it was frightening. And this particular day, I was out with my dad. My mum and dad had divorced, and so I became one of those divorcee kids where you see your dad at the weekend and he takes you out somewhere, you know. And I don't know, I can't remember where we were. I'd have to ask my dad. But I remember sitting in the back of his car, and as we were going along the road, there were trees. It was only a single track road, and there were big trees either side of this road, and the trees were massive, that they sort of come over the road and made it look darker, you know. But these trees were old, and I mean old. And as we went past this set of trees, I saw a man wearing strange clothes hanging by the neck and just swinging. He was just swinging it lightly in the breeze, and I started screaming. I said, "My dad, there's a dead man, there's a dead man." He's up there, and he slammed on his brakes as I just started going, as you can imagine, a 7-year-old kid in the back of the car going absolutely apeshit, and my sister crying. So he said, "Look, just both of you stay in the car." I mean, we couldn't get out of the car because he put the child locks on the door. "Do not turn around. I will go back and I will have a look." So my dad pulled the car over, put the hazard lights on, and went back to have a look. And he said, "There's nothing." He came back. He said, "There's nothing there." I said, no, because I was in a state at that point. He said, "I'll go back. I'll reverse the car back. In fact, I'll turn the car around. I'll drive there, and you tell me where you saw it." So he turned the car around. Nothing. Didn't see nothing.
Oh,
Got to the end of the road. He turned the car around. He said, "I'll drive back one more time." He said, "But if there's nothing there, then I can't stop." Drove all the way back up there. He saw nothing. But I saw a man hanging in the tree as clear as day. I saw the rope. I even saw where the rope was frayed. I see him dangling there. I could tell you today what he was wearing. He wasn't in a cage. He was wearing, I don't know what you call them, pantyhose. He had the white pantyhose. He had a lovely, like a cream and yellow and golden jacket with big buttons on it. I can remember that. I can remember the trousers that he wore and the big belt that he had with it. I've never ever forgotten that picture. But my dad drove so slowly round by where I saw it, and there was nothing. I didn't see it a second time. Nothing.
God.
But it frightened me enough to stop my dad. And my dad, to try and appease me, stopped the car, turned around, went back to see. But it was just like a split second he was there, and then he was gone. So I don't know whether that was place memory, the fact that he was showing me that was a suicide. I mean, as a child, I wouldn't understand it and wouldn't know. But that was something that I would never forget because it affected me quite badly, because I think the weeks that passed that, to actually see that as a child, like a suicide, like the man hanging, my parents tried to play it down, but it did affect me deeply, really did.
I mean, the thing as well about that is that it's not any specific trick. I mean, they didn't just use platforms to hang people off, did they? In the early days, they just throw a rope over the nearest tree and just hoist you up by that.
Well,
so
it
could have been hanging. It could have been hanging. Yeah. It could have been many a thing, but not necessarily suicide. But yeah, and these trees have been there for a long time.
And the other thing that I never got my head around, and I've always thought about it, like I tried to date what I saw, like as an adult, I tried to sort of date the man. He had makeup on his face.
So it sounds sort of regency. It sounds sort of 1700.
He had makeup on his face and wore a wig. It wasn't his hair.
Oh,
So it
wow.
sounds sort of Regency. If you're looking about pantaloons and you're talking about long jackets with gold braid and buttons, you're looking at sort of Regency. So you're looking at 700s.
Obviously, someone with money.
Yeah, yeah. Hi,
Could
Brian.
be.
Hope you're doing
Hi,
well.
Bri. Hey,
Hope
Bri.
you're doing well. Yeah, I've not really. I mean, obviously, I had that experience with this, with what I believe to be a spirit, but I'm not going to go into that because I've gone into that so many times that I think people have heard it. But there's quite a few of these roadside ghosts out there, aren't there? There's quite a few of these sort of entities and spirits that lay in wait for people. I mean, there's one. I'm up in Bedfordshire, but there's one that a guy picked up. I think it was in the 1970s, and he picked up a girl at the side of the road. She was hitchhiking, and she got into his car, and she said to him, "I want to be taken to such and such an address." And he got into a conversation to her, and she said, "Look, I'm getting married tomorrow, and I need to get home." And he said, "No, that's fine. I'll take you home." So he was chatting to her, just like normal people, having a conversation with her, and he got to her address. And when he got to her address, she wasn't in the car. He just looked to one side for a minute, and so she's gone. So he thought, well, it's early sort of hours in the morning. I can't really be knocking on doors this time. So he left it, and then he went back about a week or so later because he thought, I'll give it time. Maybe she's gone on a honeymoon and that, and knock on and make sure she was okay. So he went back and he knocked on the door, and the mother, and the woman answered the door. It turns out it was the girl's mother. And she said, "Oh no," she said, "she got killed. She went around about 10 years ago, and she said it was a night before her wedding."
Oh.
Yeah. So she was still trying to make it home. So she must have been trapped in this loop, I guess, where she's trying to get home and trying to get, to a wedding. She's never ever made it. Oh, sorry, Brian, I'm not sure what's going on. We've got a storm here, so I don't know if that's anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I can hear you strapping in and out, so I wasn't sure if this was on the blank again.
Yeah, it's a bit of electricity.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah. I can hear everybody fine, yeah.
Yep. In Scotland, the famous one that we've got is on the stretch of the A75. It's between Combustion and Annan, and it's
That
been
would
the
frighten
site.
me if Gary.
That'd be.
Sorry, Lois.
No, you're fine, honey. That's been the site of like plenty of paranormal activity. There's said to be like phantom hitchhikers to wild dogs. A person that just walks out in the middle of the road. So there's been a few sightings of somebody, like people thinking, oh, they've hit somebody with their car, they've stopped, they've got out, no one's been there. They've looked around. They've even been hysterical and went to the police and say, "I've knocked a person down." The police have started search the road.
Yeah.
We have one like that up here near me. The police get phone calls every year about a man who walks in front of a car with his dog, and apparently the people in the car go over the body and they feel the bump, where they're running over his body. And when they get out and look, there's nothing there. And apparently it happens every year that the police now, when you ring them up, say, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's only the ghost. Just go home and sort yourself out," sort of thing. We know about it. Every year in the same place that happens.
There's another one I heard of recently, actually. It was on a podcast, and it was an interesting one. It was about a black dog, quite a big black dog. And I don't know whereabouts. I'm assuming it's around here, around sort of like London area somewhere, one of the home counties. And what happens is this black dog, guy was driving along with his wife, and they saw this black dog sitting by the side of the road. And as he got closer, the black dog walked out, and he's hit it, and he's gone over it. So he stopped, got out, looked for the dog. There was no dog there. And then his wife shouted to him, and as he's walked back to the car, she's pointed, and the dog's further up, trotting away. So he thinks to himself, "Oh, bloody hell, I've hurt a dog. I better go and check, make sure it's okay. Obviously I've hit it and it's run off. Maybe I don't know what's happening." So he's ran after it, and as he's gone around the corner, there's nobody there, but there was a bloke standing there. And the bloke said to him, "You all right?" He went, "No, I've just run over a black dog." And the bloke said to him, "Oh, was it like quite a big dog? Like really furry and dirty? He went, yeah. He went, "That's it." He went, oh, no, don't worry about that. He said he gets run over every week. He said he's
Kids
spirit.
run over every week.
Spirit dog. But you know what? The one thing that I think this made the people think who were telling the story, and it made me think as well, is that he's turned the corner. There was no dog, but there was a man standing there. And the man, early hours of the morning, the man turns around and says, don't worry, he does that all the time. So are we talking about somebody who can, you know, change shape, like a shapeshifter? Or are we talking about another spirit who knew the dog, who knows the dog?
Oh my God.
Wow, that's interesting, Brian.
Oh, wow. But can you imagine, like, you're driving along, you see this person on the side of the road, you would never ever, well, I guess 21st century, you would go by people because you'd be quite wary about who you have in your car these days, no, probably back then. But you go and you try and help them, and the next thing you're just driving along and they disappear. That, to me, that would scare the shit out of me as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what would scare the shit out of me? And I've actually, it's happened to me, and I still question it. It's not like the bloke hanging. Is I was driving my car along early hours of the morning once, and I looked in my as you do, you look in your rearview mirror from time to time, and I saw just the outline of somebody sitting on my back seat. Now I never stopped. Of course, it shit the life out of me. I put the light on and looked again. There's nothing there. But I swear blind, I couldn't see them, but I just see the outline of the head and the shoulders sitting in my back seat. Now, I know that that's happened to a lot of other people. It's not just me, and it wasn't my eyes. And I don't think it's the area. I just think genuinely we do get visited sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. There's one of the
I nearly crashed the car. I tell you, I just shit myself.
One of a motorcyclist. He was going along. Apparently, it's happened to quite a few motorcyclists on this stretch of road. I think he might be in South Africa actually. It's like a real windy, bendy road in the middle of nowhere. And he was riding along it, or a few riders had come along it, and all of a sudden they feel arms around their stomach, holding on tight, like that. And then what they do is they look in the rearview mirror. They look in the side mirror. And there's a girl sitting behind them. So what they do, they realise that this is like not normal. Well, it is normal, but they realise this is sort of supernatural, if you like. So what they do is they speed up to get as far away as possible. Now, a lot of them might have accidents, or a lot of them speed up, and when they get to a certain point, she's gone.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it's really weird, isn't it? But it'd be interesting to get the stories behind a lot of these apparitions.
Definitely.
What the hell? And he didn't see out.
What's the next one?
Yeah, see, interesting.
Hi, Von.
Hi, Von. Hope you're well.
There's said to be one also in Skye, on the east side of the island. It's a ghost that makes an appearance. What happened was this person was speeding along the road, with headlights on, and some say that they've had to pull over to let the car overtake them. So it's like a car that's obviously had a crash on that stretch of road, and people think when they see the car.
Hello, mate.
But it's to be said that the car's driver was a church minister who caused a fatal accident.
Wow.
Hiya, Parker.
Hello, mate.
Hi, Lucas. Have you missed me yet?
Who was that, me?
Yes, you, my lovely darling.
Oh, really?
Linda. That's interesting.
Oh my God. Oh,
yeah, I mean, you think about it, these accidents. Obviously, a lot of these people are quite young. Well, even if they're not necessarily young, but they're healthy, they're fit and healthy, and then all of a sudden they're one minute and gone the next. So it seems like when people have dealings with them, that they're still in a sort of a mindset where they're not quite sure what's happening. So they're trying to get to a destination, or they're trying to somehow make reparations, or they're trying to get to somewhere to see what's going on. So it's almost like they're still confused. And so, that's
the boss man's in. Hi, Jeremy.
So that sort of trauma must then automatically become part and parcel of the environment. You know, it must get absorbed into the environment, and then not replay, but because obviously that'd be something else. Because it's the same sort of thing, but it's happening to different people, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? If it was just it wouldn't be interacting with you if it was just a memory, recorded memory.
But it's funny because I think in the chat, Bryce said, I mentioned seeing the head and shoulders of somebody's on my back seat. Bryce had that. And I think a lot of people have actually witnessed themselves, and they've not got any spiritual or mediumship gifts or anything. They just experience that same thing where they think they see somebody sitting in the back seat. Now, a lot of people are reporting smelling cigarette smoke, somebody sitting in the back seat smoking cigarettes, or they've smelt a perfume or something. That I think that is a real common one. Now, I don't know whether it's somebody that we know or whether it's something that's just recognised the car and jump in and had a bit of a hitched a lift and left pretty sharpish because they've got to where they wanted to go. I don't know.
But you think of the amount of death that must have been caused on the roads throughout the centuries. I mean, there's literally got to be hundreds of thousands of people that have died by roadsides, isn't there? And so there's going to be some sort of, fallout from that. There's going to be some sort of reaction from all of that death. Even if you think back to the old days, like you were saying, the trees, they used to hang people by the sides of roads with highwaymen. Half the time they didn't give them a trial. They used to take them to the nearest woods and string them up.
Yeah.
But you think that when I think, right, this is the best way to describe it. But I suppose that if you look at the film Silent Hill and where she goes into
Jamie, put your collar down. Otherwise I have to slap you.
Oh, it was Elvis.
That's better. Sorry, Lois, I had to tell him off.
That's all right.
Hiya, Kelly.
But if you think it that way, like Silent Hill, when like the man and wife's in two different dimensions, you can only imagine what the spirits will be thinking, especially as the one we were talking about, the one that was trying to get away back to her husband, obviously in her wedding night and things like that. Obviously that'll be I've got something
important we've got to do, guys. We've all got to sing happy birthday to Andrew.
Oh, without a doubt.
Let's do it.
One, two, three. Happy birthday to you. It sounds like bloody what to call it around. Happy birthday to you. Whoa. Cut. Start again now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Andrew. Happy birthday to you. And that's from all of us here at the Special Needs Place. That's us here. They're doing happy birthday. Happy birthday, Andrew. I hope you're having a good one, buddy.
Sounded like bloody Pat's getting strangled.
I'm laughing because Stephen's looking at me.
So Linda's put one. Hang on, can I just put Linda? There you go. Oh. Had an opposite experience driving on a road and feeling very happy, slightly giddy. Almost 15 years later, found out that the wedding parties crossed the road at that point to go to the restaurant next to the park.
Ooh.
That's a nice one, that one.
That is.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Do you know? Do you know what, Dan? You can save that for 24 days from now, and you can sing it to me.
Oh God, Jeremy, you started something off now. You don't realise.
That's all I want for my birthday. I just want Dan on the piano like this, singing happy birthday.
You will get it, and I'll also sing to you.
You're also still waiting for him to send you Down and Market.
Down and Market. I'm going to send that as soon as I can.
I'll still be waiting.
I'll send it, yeah. I promise I'll send it, yeah. I know I'll keep promising, but I will send it, yeah. Anyway, Jamie, we're talking about roadside ghosts, apparitions, and things that go bump on the curbside. What have you got? Any stories or anything?
Oh well, before you interrupted me, I was going to talk about mainly you see it on under like bridges when you go past bridges.
Yes.
You know, when people have thrown themselves off the bridge because they're in. Turn it down. Because they're in a world of hurt or whatever. But yeah, it's mainly you see the apparition of a ghost there, didn't you? To be fair,
That's true. Yeah, very
Yeah.
true. There's a big suicide bridge up not far from me and Viv in the city, which is it's actually they called it Suicide Bridge. It's on in Holloway, isn't it? And
yeah, Holloway on Holloway Road, isn't it?
yeah, and they've had like literally hundreds of people, hundreds of people chuck themselves off of that. And I used to know a guy was a policeman. Actually, he was also a paranormal investigator of all things. And he was saying that he got a call out to that because a guy had thrown himself off. And he said when he got, well, I'm not going to go into what it was, he said, but it was an awful mess. And it was one of those things that was happening on a regular basis.
Yeah, but I've also heard people on railway crossings as well.
Railway crossings, yeah.
You know, unmanned railway crossings, and then
yeah, it's true.
Ooh, pulling at you. Was it like pulling you to say, come with me, come this way, maybe?
But you think about how many people are killed with trains every day, and there'll be some amount of people, like, all different energies for different, it could be different eras as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do know that when I worked at GB Rail Freight, which is a train company,
GB Rail,
one of their drivers, because I was quite interested in the jumpers and things, because one of the drivers, he'd just come back off of having, it was basically a year off work. You get 6 months off work if you hit a jumper, and you get full pay, but then they get what you call the counselling and everything that goes with it. And the day he came back into work and went back on the main line, he got a second jumper.
Oh my God.
So he had a whole year off work. So I was interested to speak to him, you know, and me not thinking. I asked him about the jumpers. What happens when they jump? Do you actually see everything, or do they just go under the train? The first one just went under the train. So he saw the person there, like land there, and then they just disappeared under the train. But the second one, sorry, the TV's loud. Whoever's got the TV on. Anyway, the second one.
I can hear that.
The second one, when he hit, she jumped off a bridge, but the way she jumped and the way her projection of her body, she landed smack against the windscreen where he was sitting, and he said he saw her body split. Like it literally split like that. So the energy from the person who actually, it sounds disgusting. You can imagine that there's two different types of energy there. The first one that just went under is bad enough that they're going to be whatever happened to them under the train and then they die. But then the second one that jumped, I mean, can you imagine that not just the energy from the person that actually did it, but the energy then he gave off because he received it, he saw it in front of him, it's going to be fourfold, if that makes sense. So the energy created in that spot, I can imagine. Apparently that particular bridge, I know where it is, they have lots of jumpers throughout the year. And if they go the way that particular girl went, I can imagine that not just the under bit of the bridge, but the bridge itself must feel absolutely awful. Can't even fathom it. I can't fathom it.
I used to know a guy years ago was a train driver, and he was saying he had two. When he got a third one, well, he did get a third one, and the third one meant that they'd retire him on a lot of money.
Yeah.
They retire him on a lot of money. He had two, and the third one he said he didn't even hit him. What it was is he was taking like a goods train, but it had like what do you call it in the back? Like hardcore.
Oh, the stone.
Oh yeah.
He said when somebody obviously jumped, but they mistimed it, but they'd hit the side of the container, which is solid steel.
Oh.
They killed themselves. Then they rolled onto this hardcore. But as the train's going along and that, the load's shifting, so the body's going further down.
Oh.
So he didn't notice it when he got there. And then when he pulled up, he pulled up in his railway. Said, "Take your load over there as a railway siding and just tip it." So okay, fair enough. So he went and got his gloves, put them on, undone the thing, pulled the handle. So they side tip. These great big containers side tip. So it's side tipped and it's rolled out, and he went was this body that was in bits because obviously the stone had chipped away at it. And this is like early hours of the morning. And he said he had to go and because they have to get the police in, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, check to see if there's any foul play and what have you.
Because our drivers, or I say our drivers, I don't work there anymore, but the drivers are told at the scene of something happening like that, they have to stop. Everything comes to a standstill.
Yeah.
The police get there, and the union they tell the drivers, do not speak to the police, because British Transport Police and then the drivers go into shock. They're going to say anything.
Yeah.
So they're told not to speak to the police until they get a representative.
Well,
and then
I said to him, I said, "Did it bother you?" And he went, "Well, why should it?" And I went, "Well," he did have a valid point. He had a valid point. He said, "I felt bad for the people that committed suicide."
Yeah.
He said, "But I didn't kill them." He said, "They chose to end their lives that way." He went, as cold as that sounds, he said, "I don't mean it to sound like that." He went, "Because I do feel sad and heartbroken for their life, for the loss of their life. But," he went, "I'm not going to carry the guilt of their death on my shoulders because I didn't push them."
Do you think that their spirits or the ghosts could sort of walk, the carriages? Like if it's mainline train taking passengers, do you reckon they could actually jump into the trains and walk the trains? And
They probably could, aye.
If there's somebody on from America, I don't know if Jeremy's still on there, but I know there's the train. I don't know if it's a subway train in America. There's a train carriage that's had something like 30 odd deaths in it. I can't remember what it was, but it was a one-off accident or whatever. I don't know.
Oh my God!
But it's seriously haunted. This carriage is, and they've got it now it's in a siding somewhere, some railway museum or somewhere they've got it, and people can go and visit it and have a look at it. But it's got some serious activity going on.
Somebody trying to pull me into cells. I was like, wow.
Wow. Other ghost pushing down stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel so sorry for the train drivers because, they've got...
Don't feel sorry for them. The driver that I know, he gets paid. He gets paid. It worked out as 80,000 a year. So when they have their 6 months off, they're still being paid. He's still getting his 80 grand a year for doing nothing but staying at home and watching television. So don't feel sorry for them. They're not poorly paid.
No,
do you know what? I absolutely love trains, but I would never drive one because I don't think, with the best will in the world, I think I would still carry that on my conscience.
Yeah, no, it would be. It's just like if you hit somebody with a car. It's the same. It's the same sort of feelings.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had a train on my nan's side of the family. I think it was one of my nan's brothers. I was brought up, led to believe that he died being crushed by two trains shunting. Right. Apparently, the story is wrong. His name, I can't remember his name now. But anyway, he put his head outside the window while the train was moving, and a train came another way and took his head clean off. Clarence, his name was Clarence, my great uncle Clarence. So he got decapitated by a train.
I'm not laughing at that. It's just when you said that, the young ones came into my head when Vivian
I was thinking that
kicking his head down the road. Yeah.
I'm over here, you bastard. That was it.
Yeah, and then he still stitched his head up. I couldn't see it. That's terrible of me. I'm sorry. I do apologise.
Yeah, no, Clarence. Apparently that's what happened to him. But trains, I think, are quite interesting because I think like the line, the actual tube line, like in London, we do have a haunted tube line, which is the Northern Line, I believe. There are, we must have haunted cars as well.
It's the other one that shut down as well.
Oh, Aldgate.
Aldgate's very haunted, apparently.
Yeah, but they did a program recently. Well, I say recently, it's probably a few years ago on Ghosts on the Underground, didn't they? And
that was good.
Riddled with them because a lot of the tunnels that they dug through, they were going through cemeteries. So they went through the middle of sort of medieval cemeteries and stuff, and they didn't bother moving the bones.
Did you know that the London Underground? This is not many people know this. I'm going to tell you, the London Underground network, the old Underground network, has a further tunnel. So you have the tunnel, but underneath there is a further tunnel that is used by the postal. The postal is a lot. It's a lot deeper and a lot. But apparently that's where they hit the plague pits and what you're talking about, Dan, is the one underneath.
They dug through loads of them, though, didn't they? Old cemeteries when they were digging. They didn't move bodies, did they? Just pushed them on one side and that.
I'm just going to interrupt, right? Annette put something right up. I'm poorly paid, but I'm just a train cleaner. You're not just a train cleaner. That's what bugs the shit out of me when folks say they're a cleaner. I'm just a cleaner. Without you guys, the place would be filthy.
You know what really annoys me? When people say things like that and you think, you know what, your job doesn't define who you are.
No, it's the backbone. You're the backbone of... We get in on train and it's clean because of you. We can't, we're getting the service that we expect because of you.
But it's not even that, is it? It's the fact that there's much more. There's more to a person than the bloody job they do. Yeah. A lot more. The job you do is just something you do to earn money. That's like we all do that.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine being a cleaner in the London Underground that does the tunnels? You know, when the trains stop, they all jump in and they go into the tunnels.
Yeah.
Or
filthy.
I used to go out with a girl. Actually, I was going to get married to her. Lucky escape. But anyway, I was going to go with a girl.
Great escape.
And it was her uncle, her great uncle, something like that. He was the one that drove the train to Moorgate. What did he say?
What did he? The Great Escape.
Great Escape. He was the one who drove the train into Moorgate where they had that massive crash back in the 70s, 80s. And all those people got killed. And they reckon he'd done it. His mum or his sister-in-law or whatever was telling me that he did it. He suffered with severe depression. And so he took everybody with him.
Oh, bless you. No thanks. It was no thanks needed, honestly.
Bryce says, exactly. I was a professional tosser. Do you know what? I'll tell you what. I've got awards for being a wanker. So you and me, Bryce, we've got a lot to talk about.
This is a family show.
They don't know. They don't know what that word means across the
They do.
They don't.
Is that no your Pam and 5 sisters?
That's the one. Mrs. Palm and her 5 lovely daughters.
Are you brushing your teeth? And do you know what? You're going to bath tonight. You're having a bath tomorrow morning. Do you want me to clear? Time goes away now.
Yeah. See that.
Yep.
Yes, I think we all know somebody who's done that, and they chuck this in front of the I know a couple of people have done it.
They do understand what that word means, Dan.
Yeah, they don't all understand it. It's very it's an English word, and it's an English term.
It's a nice term of endearment.
It is, yeah.
That's it. You put your foot in it.
I haven't put my foot in it. I don't care.
Dan.
What's the worst can happen? I'll get banned and I'll get my Tuesdays back.
I want to ask you, have you seen, because I know that you used to have a driving job, and I know in your vast years of experience of driving, have you ever seen like what I call the Tramp Ghosts on the side of the road? There's one on the is it the M23?
I've never seen that. I've seen people killed on the road, quite a few over the years. There was one I'll always remember. It was driving through off the side of Liverpool years and years and years ago, back in the 80s actually. And I remember looking to the side of the road, and there was all these great big Arctics pulled up, and there was lights up and everything. So it literally just happened. But what it was, a couple of young kids had stolen a car, and the police had given chase to them, and they've gone down a road, and of course the road was dead end. But over the road, over the fence at the end was the motorway. So rather than the police taking the safer course of action and leaving, like not going near them, they chased these kids onto the motorway. So they're trying to escape the police, but as they run across the road, this Arctic's hit them. Now, when we passed them, I looked over, and it looked like there was two. It basically looked like bundles of clothes. They were rolled up into balls. And as I got closer, I'm looking and looking and looking, and then I've noticed there's a hand sticking out, and I thought, oh, that's people. That's what they pulled up. It's been killed. Literally just been killed. And I remember that. So I've seen there's things like that. And now whether those deaths, I'm sure they must leave some sort of energy on that environment. I'm sure they must.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've driven sort of early hours and everything and never. But then that one we did.
Yeah, I've seen in broad daylight though, Dan. In broad daylight on the M23, on the central reservation. I mean, I was being naughty down the fast lane doing stupid speeds that I shouldn't have done, which I'm not going to mention on here. And in the central reservation, you have like a concrete bit, and then you have the metal
wire.
bollard.
Yeah.
And there was a man, and I did a double take because he was in the middle of the motorway, just climbing over the metal bits across the road. And I did a double take because he looked like a tramp. Seriously, he looked like Catweasel. Do you remember Catweasel?
Yeah.
Long beard and
Love
just raggedy clothes. Anyway, so I got to my destination, and I was going on a ghost hunt, strangely enough, and it was like early evening, and I said, I've just had a really weird experience. And I said, what? I said, I just see this tramp trying to cross the road, and then this bloke, he spat his tea out and he started laughing. He went, did he look like Catweasel? I went, yeah, that's him. How do you know? He goes, apparently, I've seen him. He goes, and apparently he died. He was a tramp in that area. He died crossing that road, and he still repeats the act. It's on a loop, Dan. And that's in broad daylight, not even in dark.
That's like place memory, that one then. Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? There are a few weird things out there, but I mean, I've seen things. I've seen people that met their end, God love them, on road traffic accidents and stuff. I've never seen spirits at the site of an accident, but then I've seen spirits at the side of the road. Like, perfect example was that one when we went to do the what was left of an old abbey. Do you remember?
Yeah, you saw that man on his bike.
On his motorbike in the middle of the woods. And it was like, what's he doing there in the middle of the woods? The weird thing was, it was like a 1950s, 60s motorbike, and he was dressed up like an old ton-up boy. He didn't have a helmet on. He had his hair sort of quiffed, and he had like jeans on, and they had the old motorbike boots, like the old riding boots I used to wear, and a jacket. And it was just weird. It was like he looks like something out of the 70s or 60s or 60s or 50s. He didn't look like he was, and where he was. Why would you have a motorbike in the middle of a wood? Like a road bike. It was really weird.
On your bike.
Oh, you Terry!
Right, here's a question for you guys. Do you think sometimes the spirits are coming back to warning people with the dangers of the road?
Good question.
Yeah, maybe. In some instances. Maybe.
What do you think, Parker?
Thinking really, because like you said, it could be on a loop. You know, it depends on where it is, what they do. You know, how it happened. I just think it's going to be on a loop, like you said about the tramp. You know, it's a reoccurrence of what happened.
It's like anything paranormal, isn't it? The questions lead to more questions.
You don't know, do you? I don't think. I think it's something that, like you say, we're not gonna know the true answer because it's quite hard to explain. We don't know, do we?
What about the incidences? And Lois, you must get this a lot up in Scotland way, where you have these beauty spots where you can park and look at the lovely views, the valleys, whatever, or forests, and you could be sitting in your car doing nothing, just having a cup of tea or just enjoying the view, and all of a sudden you get bang, 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 somebody knocking on your car window from the outside and there's no one there. That would bother me more.
Dogging
was
site to go
dogging.
to.
Not a dogging site. I don't know what dogging means.
What is dogging? Is that when you
I
take your
have
dog
no
and walk around the
idea.
cat?
Dan's a dog man. He could tell
I
us.
am a dog man. I'm a dog man. I did have one experience one night. I figured out. I don't know whether it was tiredness or not. It was coming back from my mate's house in Bedfordshire, and one of the roads there is pitch black. It's the main road. It's the main drag. It's absolutely pitch black, and it was a fairly new road, to be fair. It was only a couple of years old, but I remember driving along that, and I wasn't in the fast lane. I was because I was only me on the road, and the headlights caught what looked like a shadow of a person. And so I then thought I was going to walk out. So I pulled across to the fast lane and slowed down a little bit in case he just decided to go walking out. And when I got close, it was gone. But I was tired that night, so I can't say whether what I was seeing was actually my eyes playing tricks or whether it was something, because it was pitch black, or whether it was something other. But I always put it down to that's maybe your eyes playing tricks. So, but you don't know, do you? Because there are lots of things that happen on these roads.
In Holland, they have the Bokken riders, as me and Lois found out.
Oh, I
So
love
in
the
Holland,
fucking riders.
you see the men on goats, men riding goats going across the road.
What's that? That's not supernatural, is it? Is it?
Ask Dad.
Yeah, Ad knows. We're going to get him back on, and we'll talk about the Bokken riders. But yeah, men riding goats. That's supposed to be demonic. It's a
I just
bad
don't say it because
juju.
it sounds like I'm saying the F word.
God, say Bokken riders.
Fucking right.
Sounds funny
And then
when
you
Lois
worry
says
about
it.
me saying tosser or wanker. She goes and says that.
Warning thing comes more prevalent in America on the covered bridges.
Yeah, them covered bridges have a lot of paranormal stuff happening.
Apparently, the Golden Gate's haunted.
Apparently, it's the most haunted bridge in the world because of the amount of suicides. Apparently.
Wow. Yeah, that's up here, Terry, isn't it? That's near us.
Is that
the oldest Roman road in Britain? That is Ermine Street.
Is that the Dogging Road?
It is a dogging road.
Do you know? I imagine that Dan's got a hidden picture, and he's hidden behind another picture with all the dogging spots round the UK.
I've got one of those maps with like all little bits of string on it that go from one dogging site to the next. Depending on how good it is, there's different coloured string.
Men riding goats sounds like Turkish goat men. Honestly, the Bokken riders, it's a historic fact, this Bokken rider. Have a look.
Demonic then, is it? Or
so they were in league with the devil or something, and they were riding goats in Holland. It's a big history thing that they did, it's to do with witchcraft, but have a look.
Sounds interesting.
It's interesting.
That sounds interesting.
Definitely, Ad was a really on.
Dogging Road, laugh out loud. That's why it's called Cock Lane.
Parker looks half asleep. Look at him. Looks tired.
I'm all right.
Yeah, so...
You're all right there, Jamie. You want me to get you a pillow?
I've got one, thanks.
He looks really comfy there, doesn't he?
He does.
He does. He'll be sleeping within 2 minutes.
Oh, bless him. He works hard. Shall we get the jar of doom?
Yes, the jar of doom.
Right.
No way.
Jay, tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Oh God, here we go. Number 1 or number 2?
1.
Yes.
Interesting.
Do you know I get a Facebook ban for that? I did an article on spontaneous human combustion, and I had a picture, and they took down the picture and said that it wasn't suitable, and they banned me for it.
On YouTube.
No, Facebook.
I
Bloody
do need a
communists.
pillow. Linda, I do need a pillow. I'm
But
knackered.
yes, this is the best subject. I love this subject because it really does interest me how you can be set, like you go on fire from the inside out.
There was I'll just tell you just briefly, we'll go into it more next week, but there was a man in Twickenham that spontaneously combusted in the middle of the street. He wasn't even at home.
Oh my god.
So yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
I'll make myself available. I'll be like, busy that night.
Well, I'm not on next week because I'll start my nights Monday. So.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Are you coming for Friday's show?
No, I'm on my nights. What? Friday?
Yeah.
This Friday, yeah.
No, I'm working.
Oh, honey, I'll miss you.
We will miss you.
I'll be quite quiet next week, so trying to catch my sleep.
No, that's cool. Oh,
Start
good.
my shifts. So.
He needs to burn that shirt he's wearing.
I don't.
Spontaneously, he needs to combust that shirt, doesn't he?
He does.
Caused by trap wind when you're smoking.
What are you smoking?
Actually,
People that use those pipes, them pipe while they're laying down.
He's wrong because I've got trap wind all the time and I fart like a good one while I'm smoking. It's not happened to me yet.
They'd be feared to combust you, Viv.
I will tell you. I'll tell you something offline, and you're gonna go. You what? It's quite weird.
I've even when I was trying.
You've not been caught touching yourself again, have you?
I was trying to light a cigarette when the wind was blowing and I set fire to the air. I remember doing that. And I saw the flame, and it burnt green. The flame.
Oh my god!
Won't do that again, Larry, will we?
I absolutely love this subject.
You're both ends.
Yeah, what colour was the flame then, Jay, when you set fire to it?
Probably blue.
See, he's admitted doing it.
I've tried it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My dad did it when they were younger. Both of them, him and his brother.
Setting fire to your farts.
Yeah, with matches.
Oh, we've all done that, haven't we?
Yeah.
In school, when you get on the desk and you lift your legs up and you put some matches in.
I remember when I was little, I remember trying to catch a fart and I farted into a jam jar, quickly put the lid on. And I said to my dad, I've caught a ghost. And he said, where? And he took the jam jar and unscrewed the lid. And he said he could smell it.
Do you remember that girl online about a year or so ago? It might be a little bit longer now. 2 years ago, she's used to have OnlyFans, and she used to parcel up her farts.
Yeah.
I'll send it to them.
Oh my
but she got so many requests, right, that she blew out her ass. Her rectum collapsed.
Oh.
Yeah, she was trying to keep up with demand.
Oh my god!
She had to have reconstructive surgery to rebuild the rectum because she blew it out. Brilliant.
It's like playing a tuba.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And the moral of the story there is don't.
I know where I'm not putting my lips.
Don't sell your farts. But you know what? I've always wondered. I mean, this is just throwing it out there, completely going off track here. You know, when you go ghost hunting and sometimes, and you know it's not a human person doing it because you're the only one there, and you smell that horrible, eggy, sulphury, nasty smell. Is that the ghost just doing a fart and leaving it for you?
I think it's probably me.
It's Dan.
Yeah, it's me, probably.
Yep.
Do you think it might be?
We did an investigation at the jail, didn't we? And I had a particularly bad gut, and I let one go. But as I did, I moved close to Viv.
He's disgusting, he is.
I bet you blame Viv as well. Like,
I think,
Viv,
no,
why did you do that?
I think a dead person did it. It must be a dead person. Smells bad. Must be a dead person did it.
The first
I
thing
think I
I say
remember shouting, "I've cop a load of that."
is, he did as well. I know it was me going,
It's
Daniel,
black.
just
The further she
disgusting.
walked, the more I followed her. It was like a vapor. It was like a vapor trail.
And the fart did follow. It is horrible. It is horrible. I said, Dan, I said, you must have shit your pants or
I
something. He
think
said,
I did. Well, I had a warm ride home, so I think I might have.
That was you clenching your butt cheeks in case I punched you or something. But it is like it just makes you wonder, like when you do smell these, because I remember one that I did smell was like the smell of old urine, like somebody had wet themselves.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
when you walk into an old people's home and you know that they've wet and it's been left to dry and
Oh,
That
yeah.
horrible
you know
smell.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I know what smell you're talking about.
And yeah, Linda says cigars.
But they do come with a smell, don't they? I mean, I used to know when I could smell when my dad was around because I could this real strong smell of old Holborn. Remember the old rolling?
Yeah, the old
They
tobacco,
still,
yeah.
they still sell it, do they?
Yeah.
Old
Do they
Oban.
Still
smoke
sell it.
that old Holborn, yeah. And I remember, do they not sell that anymore?
No.
And I always remember when he's been around, I always know he's there because it doesn't happen very often, only a couple of times. But it's such a strong smell of this old Holborn,
The tobacco,
you know,
yeah.
the tobacco smell, you know. But yeah, it's weird, isn't it? You do smell some weird things, don't you? You know.
Well, I hate to tell you, when I fart, I smell like roses, so get up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, radio.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, right, oh dear.
But they say though, when like your loved ones are there, you can smell cigarettes, perfume, their kind of odour, can't you?
Yeah, they
Which
say
is-
they waft it to let you know it's them that's around.
They're there, yeah.
Just why is it then? Like for example, my nan, her favourite perfume was Chanel No. 5. So if she was going to come around, I'd
Yeah,
smell.
expensive taste.
I know. So why don't we smell these expensive perfumes? He only seemed to smell like the old-fashioned ones, like
1970 stuff.
Yeah.
lavender or
Old
lily of
Spice.
yeah.
Old Spice, yeah.
Why are you not smelling the Chanel
Fruit.
No. 5s or the Coco Chanels that?
Well, maybe up there it's too expensive. The cost
Yeah.
of living. Come on, folks.
That's true, actually. Yeah. See, it's all exactly, Linda. It's the old-fashioned scent, isn't it, that you get from?
Yeah. I know if somebody comes around me and they say, "Oh, your nan's here, I can smell lavender," I'll say, "Yeah, you're on your bike, mate," because I know my nan wouldn't wear that cheap.
No,
rubbish. She'd wear,
that was old. That was old school stuff, wasn't it? That old lavender and what was it? Old talc they used to wear as well, didn't they? The old girls years ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
kids.
Imperial leather.
Imperial leather, yeah. I like the smell of carbolic soap. It's a very clean.
Yeah,
I do like that. I still use carbolic if I can get my hands on it.
yeah.
It's just one of them. I'm waiting for me nan to come around with her smell of Chanel No. 5 and fill the house up with that lovely smell, but she'd never come back.
Sometimes though, it's weird, isn't it? Because I've been somewhere and smelt the old Holborn, but nobody else has smelt it. But I've smelt it.
Yeah, it's quite weird that.
It's for you, isn't it? Or you know, it's really weird.
Yeah, meant for you.
Rose oil, yeah. Rose, blimey, that was another one, wasn't it?
I hate the smell of rose.
Oh, I love it, the smell of roses.
Oh.
Is that a regular soap, carbolic soap?
Yeah. Used to be back in the day.
Yeah, I like carbolic soap.
Is Pears soap the nearest to it, Dan?
Oh,
you know,
I
because
love
Pears soap smells.
Pears
I
nice,
love
isn't
the
it?
smell of that.
Pears is nice. That's a posh soap, isn't it? Pears.
Yeah.
Is that similar to carbolic, the smell?
No, pears, I think, is quite a posh smell, isn't it? Like a nice smell. Carbolic's more like an industrial cleaning, which is nice. I like it.
Yeah, I do.
I like the smell of it.
Is that more like coal tar soap?
Coal tar, I love. Yeah, coal tar's the old-fashioned stuff. I love that as well. That's proper old-fashioned Victorian stuff, isn't it? I love that. Love that. Actually, there's a museum we go to, and they sell it there. So if we go there, I always buy myself a couple of bars of the coal tar because the smell is just amazing.
Do you know what? It's funny you say that. Me and Dan, we went somewhere and I kept saying to you, I smell weed. And you kept saying, oh, no, it's your imagination. And then you smelt it.
Yeah, where was that?
I can't remember.
That
We
was
were
recently, wasn't it?
And I said, Dan, I can smell weed. I said, and we shouldn't be smelling it here. And he said, no, it's your imagination. It's the plants, it's the bushes. And then you smelt it. And you
Yeah, where
smelt the
was?
weed.
I remember that. I can't remember where it was.
You
We
two,
were-
to tell the truth, you were sitting getting stoned, weren't you?
It was in my car.
We was at a tank museum. At the tank
That's
museum.
right.
And
That's right.
I smelt it inside. And I said, Dan, I
That's
can smell
right.
weed. And he said, nah, it's got to be imagination. And none of us had the weed on it. Well, we don't do it. And the people that run it certainly don't look like
No,
they
they're not. They're not the type, are they? They're more interested in their combustion engines and tanks and everything else.
We could smell
That
weed.
was an amazing place. It was only small, but it had, stuff went on there, but it had the potential to be. You could see that there was a lot more going on there for what a tiny little collection. Could beat that, Brian.
It could be.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
but yeah, smelling weed. I mean, if you go and do any investigations in West London, certainly in the spots that I know about, ghost or no ghost, you would definitely smell the weed there.
So we went from dogging to weed. Wow.
Oh yeah, two great English pastimes.
Do you know that'll be? See, when they were reading my uncle's thing, it was so funny. The minister came to a certain part and he went, his two favourite pastimes, but something that the eyes of the church can't discuss. I was killing myself.
No, he's led a good life then. If the church can't discuss it, he's obviously had a good life.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh. So, Lois, what in Scotland are there any
Electric?
any more
Any what?
reports?
What did he say?
Is there any electric? Is there any?
He's an asshole.
I know. Is there any reports of
No.
any roadside ghosts that you know about, sort of on the Scottish highways and
There's so
byways?
there is so many. That boy's an asshole. So he is. there is so many around Scotland.
Well, you got cars as
Another
well.
one.
See you later, Von.
See you later, Von.
Take it easy.
Bye. But yeah, there is so many. I mean, you've obviously there's one in Glasgow as well. That you know that this is to be the ghost of a man that's committed suicide. So there is so many around Scotland.
Yeah. Look at that cheeky grin on his face. He's only like that when he picks on you, Lois.
That's okay. That's okay. Cam's a bitch.
Do you know what they say about boys? Do you remember what they used to say about boys and girls at school that annoy each other, Viv? They secretly love each other.
No, thank you. I'd rather have you done. Jamie's too young for me.
I'm probably a bit older than you, love.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, a little bit like the old copper sulphate.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
it's a little bit like that, I guess. It's a really nice, clean smell. Jamie will tell you what it's like. It's lovely, isn't it, Jamie?
Yeah.
It's really, really nice smell. Proper old-fashioned smell, isn't it? Real old school stuff.
Yeah.
Smells of hospitals.
It does, yes.
Vaughn,
Oh my God,
I'll sell
Vaughn.
him for a goat. I will sell him to you for a goat.
But is it a goat that we can ride? Is what we want to know.
A bucket rider.
I'm going to look that up. That sounds like an interesting myth and legend. That does.
We want a proper billy goat for Jamie.
Let me guess who you heard it from. You heard it from the
Bry's
Dutch guy.
got it right. Bry's got it right. Lois only has eyes for Dan.
can have no electric, Dan. You crack on. No cars. You crack on, boy.
The things you could do with no electricity.
In
Yeah,
the dark.
Save on bills to keep you warm, wouldn't it?
Joking aside, that's going to be all of us come this winter. We'll be all sitting in the dark.
It's good though. It'd be good for doing magic.
I'd have to turn this light off when we go live.
That'd be all right.
I'd have to
It's
turn
right.
that one off when we go live. I'd be sitting in the dark. Actually, let's try it. Hang on.
That's ghost hunting mode. We'll be in ghost hunting mode.
Ooh, in the dark.
It's all right. Get candles out.
Then we could play. Well, in fact, if I go to my own things network, I can't say it. I'll just need to be another show when Parker's there.
Jamie, have you got a light on? It looks like you got darkness around. Oh, you have.
Yeah.
The thing is about this house, and Dan will tell you,
Haunted.
this house is haunted.
Mm.
So if I'm sitting here in the dark,
Actually,
What's
And
that
you-
behind
and-
you?
shut up. And you see stuff, don't tell me about it. I just don't want to know because I have to live here, you see.
like that bloke I saw in your garden.
Yeah.
Don't
Like the bangs. we
I've got.
heard when we were
I have
there.
the haunted room. The haunted room is my room, isn't it, Viv?
Yeah, that room's it looks like a lovely room, comfortable bed, but it's
Lovely.
the most haunted room in the house.
It won't be when I stay in November.
What? Haunted?
You're going to share it with me.
That's all
Yeah.
right.
Terry says it's behind you.
No, there's nothing behind me. It's
No,
fine.
there's not. There's nothing.
No,
There had been at times when I'd sat
just
and
you and that
worked
bloke
with
there.
them. Shut up.
Fuck off, Dan.
The bloke is downstairs.
I ain't going to do you any harm anyway, Viv. He's all right.
No.
Yeah, no, he's thrown a few
It's
things
not
at me
bad,
now.
but yeah, but it might be just to get your attention.
Whoa, that's bright.
Oh,
So yeah,
Mm.
So tomorrow night we are interviewing
Lois.
Lois.
Why?
because
Why? we are going to get to know Lois. And
Getting to know Lo, getting to know all about Lo.
So
yeah, we're
that
going to be
means what
asking
do
her.
you?
We're going to be asking her some probing questions.
I'm getting real.
Is it true? Do you have electric?
How many, that's right. How many candles do you burn a night?
How much is?
4 candles.
How much is a lighter?
Yeah. When you do your washing, is it far to the stream? How many rocks a day do you use to bash your washing on?
What's your favourite cream? Hide the cunt.
Oh dear.
I'll have to watch that back because I didn't understand you.
What's your fantasy, Lil Dan? That's
My fantasy is to was to do a whole year's
no. Ian's
investigate.
turning around and asking what my fantasy, and then he put Dan.
Oh, that's hard up for a fantasy there, haven't you? But my fantasy is to do a year's worth of investigating.
And it says we had a battery bounce off the door. It would have caused damage if it hit anyone.
Oh.
I had a pot come round the corner. It actually come from round the corner and smacked on the wall just outside this room. It had to go round a corner to be able to get where it was. That makes sense. And then when I was here alone, outside having a cigarette, I thought I heard Andy open the back door, step inside and shut the back door. And I saw the shadow in the kitchen block the light as he walked into the house. And so I went in going, Andy, Andy, Andy. No Andy there. There was nobody in the house. And yet I heard it. And I said to Dan, it's starting already.
Oh, shit.
So he goes from outside. He actually enters my house through a door, my back door.
Do you think he stays in that room that I reside? I sleep in when I'm there. Do you think he goes in there a lot?
Well, I heard a rumpus. You know, you hear the footsteps.
Yeah, he
And then
landed
you,
it, didn't he?
yeah, and then you hear the banging and crashing as though he's throwing stuff around the room. And you go up there and there's nothing there. And yet you hear the banging and crashing and the footsteps. I mean, I heard it. The last time I heard that was about 8 months ago.
Did the
Heard the
cats
run.
react at all?
Well, so I was sitting downstairs with the cats watching telly, having a cup of tea, and I heard running up the stairs, and then I heard the banging and crashing because John looks like that, you know.
I've
But they
heard that
don't.
before house footsteps going up them stairs.
But they don't react to it. They don't react to it. I suppose like they're now used to it.
Probably used to it.
But yeah, it's it can be a bit unnerving, but I'm getting used to it.
Yeah,
Well,
I know. He doesn't mean in the arms. He's just there, isn't he?
I think he was
Right.
there before me. Oh, I'll tell you what Dan does in his sleep. Talks.
Terry should know that. We've shared a room on a couple of occasions over the years.
Oh, I didn't
I'm bringing
know.
earplugs. I'm bringing earplugs next time. It's so funny hearing the talking because it's like, what the fuck are you talking? Oh, what are you
I
talking
don't know
about?
what I'm talking about, though. It makes no
This
sense
is a-
to me. But yes, we are. Did you mention that we are now doing formal ghost hunts with?
No, would you like to talk about that, Dan?
Yes, Striking Midnight has now got a new string to its bow. We are now going to be undertaking doing
Simply spooky events.
simply spooky. That's right, simply spooky events. So yes, so we'll be doing that under the banner of Simply Spooky. We are going to be running events, and we've got a few sorted that we're going to sort, and we've got a few that we're working through the pipeline at the minute. So yes, I think we're doing a relatively cheap one, aren't we, to start with?
I think it's a free
So-
one, the first
Yeah,
one.
it's a free
Might be a
device,
free
isn't it?
one. Might be a free one actually, and yeah, we're hopefully going to get a few people there, and it's going to be a Christmas get together as well, isn't it?
The Christmas one is going to be, I don't think it's up yet, but I'll just tell people quickly here. It will be relatively cheap. It's going to be a potluck, so you bring a plate of something. So whether it's crisps,
Peanuts,
sweets,
whatever. Biscuits.
whatever. And you've got a little bit of a meal going on, like a get together. Will be a secret Santa, and if you want to ghost hunt, you can. But otherwise, it's just more of a social.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, I think we said the beginning of December, didn't we, Dan?
Yeah, early December. I think about the 7th of December, or no, earlier than that, maybe. Yeah, beginning of December. I think it might be the first Saturday or weekend in December. Yeah, first Saturday in December, I think. I'll have to check the date again, but I think it is. But yeah, we're looking at that. So Terry says he's booked up till June. Yeah, we've got tons, haven't we, Viv, that we've got backed up.
Yeah. We've got a lot of, we're doing a lot. But,
Have a lovely lunch, Linda. Take it easy. Stay safe.
Bye.
Have
Bye,
a good week.
Linda.
Have a good week, Linda.
Bye.
Yes, so there's quite a bit in the pipeline there, isn't there? We've got, you know.
Terry, you're going to have to come out with us.
Yeah, definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. Bye. And the thing is as well that now you've got another string to your bow, haven't you? What with Richard Felix's manager becoming his manager.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of stuff that's going to come in. There will be something hopefully in November that Richard will be bringing to you at Derby Jail, and after that I think he's going to be taking it on the road. So yeah, the one at Derby Jail, if you get the opportunity to go, I would say go, because it's going to be mind-blowing. He's Bri will come. Brilliant. Yes, we'll have you on board, Bri. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that he's going to be doing this new show that he'll be getting on board. Plus, there's lots and lots coming in from Richard Felix. So look out for that.
Should we tell everybody what we're doing?
No,
Definitely not.
don't keep it
We've
quiet.
got an extravaganza coming, which is going to be a show that we're doing, isn't it? So we're going to get people when we got it all sorted. We're working through getting the venues now. We've already got one venue. So, yeah, it's going to be a going to be a good night.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, excellent, Terry.
Yeah, he's
Excellent.
it's not a ghost hunt that Richard will be doing in Derby Jail. He's just going to hold it in Derby Jail as the venue, the very first one
Start with.
to kick it off. Yeah, but it will be interesting. It will be reasonably priced as well, so you won't be paying through the nose to be able to go and see it. So, and plus he's got a bar there, and come and have a few drinks, and it will be in a relaxed atmosphere as well. So I can't say any more than that at this stage until Richard decides to announce it. So, but there is stuff coming. You're going to love it. That's all I can say. Lots and lots and lots of stuff.
We're moving.
It's like that cliffhanger at the end of the show. They will say
We're taking
next
things
season.
up a notch.
You're killing
aren't
me.
we,
And also, I've got to remind people that watched last week, or not last week? Yeah, was it last week on Simply Spooky on Wednesday? The Alaskan Killer Bigfoot people.
Fantastic.
Get onto the Travel Channel, and just message them, bombard them. Go on to IMDb or whatever it's called. Tell them how much you like the show and how you're waiting for the second series. I know that the Travel Channel have just re-aired it again, the first series, which I'm not just blowing smoke up their arse, but it is a very, very good show. There's more to it. It's got lots of layers and facets to it. And I, for one, want to know what happens next. But again, it's unless they get the second season sorted out, we're never going to know. But
and I'll tell you the truth, and I won't do this. I won't put myself out on a limb for anybody. But the stuff you're seeing with them is genuine.
Yeah,
it's not fabricated. There's none of this. Like a lot of these shows that you see, where they fabricate the evidence and the activity. It's not fabricated with them. What you see is actually what's. In fact, there's a lot they've held back, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need a second season for that, without a shadow of a doubt. And we need to make sure that Jeff's on it.
Jeff, oh, my mate Jeff.
Yeah, we need to make sure he's on it, because I think he'll put that extra string to that bow when he'll be really step it up a notch.
Yeah. So that's it, and then we got Friday night Frighteners.
What?
Lois, what are we doing on the show on Friday?
I don't know. Let me have a think in that one. See, when people catch you off guard with that one, you're kind of like, let me think.
You need a pot of doom.
I need a pot. In fact, that's what I'm doing.
Lois, you need Lois's jar of doom.
Candle of
Do
doom.
that. So if you
Lois.
guys
Oh,
want...
what? You say
What
candle
did
of doom?
What did that bastard say?
Every weekend, Terry. Every week we do it. Every Friday. Every time we're on the show.
Of course, that's like a, let off the steam after a hard week.
Terry, is that your Native American name?
Close each other.
You make us sound like a serial killer, Brian.
Hey, why don't we talk about serial killers?
If you want, do that. Let's go. In fact, I should put one in my jar for roasting the wee Wanker when he's on one Friday.
That's one, mate.
Two Willie
Oh,
Tell.
two Willie
Two
Tell.
Willie.
Yes, he has got two Willies. We know about.
My Native American name is Chief Running Tap Water.
Me and Viv discovered about Terry's two Willies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got two Willies.
He has got two Willies.
His wife cut one off.
He has.
Oh.
So Friday, what are you doing? Talking about serial killers?
Serial killers.
I might have a night off then.
Do you know what?
Seriously, I might have a night off.
You ain't.
Don't you dare, Mr.
I'm not
Woodward,
going to talk about. I'm not
answer.
talk about serial killers. Don't even interest me.
Do you know, I was watching, it's really old on TV. I've started recording them. It's called Psychic Detective Eyes or something with Tony Stockwell,
Oh, that's old
TJ
now,
Hicks. Yeah, and Colin Fry. And the one this week was about a couple that had gone to see Tony Stockwell. The daughter her sister went missing, and it transpires she was killed. And they went through the story and everything. Anyway, it transpires that this guy, a farmer, had killed this girl, raped and killed her, and she wasn't the first, and there was more after her. This part of Ireland near Dublin, and that he was killing these girls and burying them on the property, but the Garda, the police, didn't have enough to go on to issue warrants to search his property, so the bodies have never been found. So there's potentially this serial killer in Ireland.
Have they got an inkling that he's done it?
Yeah. And they even described it, and that he's got this scar that goes across here. The police had interviewed him, saw the scar across here. Tony Stockwell, Colin Fry, they all picked all that up, that he had the scar. But he'd raped and murdered this girl, and he was getting away with it. They never ever found her body.
Do you know what? I know they're going about, and yeah, I know that there are certain rules and regulations that have to abide by. Hi, Nick. Hope you're well, buddy. I know there are certain rules and regulations that have to abide by. But if they've got real sneaking suspicions like that, what about the rights of the girls that have been murdered?
Exactly. They had no rights.
The police, no rights.
They say the Garda, they were speaking to one guard, and he'd said that they interviewed the guy, but their advice was to let things be. That they reckon there was internal cover-ups or something. So maybe he was known to the Garda.
So how many more girls are going to be murdered because of that?
Exactly.
I'd have that. If I was the old Bill out there, I'd have that land. I wouldn't give a toss. I'd have that land up.
Yeah.
Wouldn't care. I'd have him in cuffs, and I'd have that land up.
But yeah, so he was potentially a serial killer.
As a copper, right? I've got respect in this for this. If you deal with one of them, how? Because I couldn't do it. How could you get your hands off of them?
It's like prison officers. How would you, as a prison officer, how do you keep your hands off of the people that you're locking up, knowing what they've done? I suppose you'd have to train yourself.
I find it very hard, though. But then the prison officers might find it very hard. Police might find it very hard. It's just, I don't know. You can't get me. You can never get my head around that.
But it'll be a good show. We end up talking off radar anyway. So we'll be talking from murders to God knows what. Just what. Do you know what we should do for a show? We should let these people have a vent in the chat. What do you want to vent about today?
Do you know what we should do? We should get somebody on as a guest host.
That would be good.
Interview us.
Just get somebody on as a guest host and we just chat nonsense.
It'd have to be a Friday. Do you know, we'd have to get a Friday night and get someone on and say, right, this is your opportunity to interview us, ask questions, but we'll give you honest answers. You might not like the answers, but we'll give you honest answers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's right. You're right, Terry. They should have had cadaver dogs and that out there, absolutely, and the ground call it resonance.
Definitely.
Wow.
Like that girl that went missing in America. She drove her car, and she was driving back to her mum and dad's, I think, and the car broke down or whatever beside of the road, and they couldn't find her anywhere. But there's a farmstead, a homestead, and the psychics have said that the body's there. It's in there. She's there, and they've gone in. The police have gone in. They've gone down, but they didn't have the permission to dig it up because you've got to jump through loads of hoops. Like, you can get access to a property, but then to do any sort of, like, I don't know what, it might be just the States, I don't know. Then to do any kind of groundwork in there, you've got to then get more permission. And so, like, by the time they've done that, they don't know what's gone on. But it's under a boiler, apparently.
To be fair, right, if I had a knock on the door and somebody had said to me, oh, this psychic had said that you've got a dead body in your garden and we want to dig it up, I'd tell him to do one. Turn around and go and do one. Unless you've got the proper paperwork and warrants to dig up my garden, piss off, don't waste my time, you know.
Yeah, but I think the police had an inkling that there was something not right with this guy who was owning the house.
But you
Prior
get
to the
you would get a warrant. You would go and get the warrants, and getting warrants. I mean, if you have reasonable doubt and they have a little bit of evidence that goes with that to prove their reasonable doubt, they'll get a warrant issued all day long. You only go to the courts to get that. That's it. It's not.
You say that though,
major.
Viv, but then if they don't get the warrant, and what about the families? What about the parents of that
Well, the
girl?
thing is,
They're
we had
waiting forever to get
my mum
some
had
sort of closure.
my mum had her garden, and I mean, it was like a building site. And I'll never forget that night. The door didn't get a knock on the door. The door come flying in off its handles and woke my mum up. And the house was full of police because they're looking for arms that the guy that lived there before us was part of the IRA, and that he'd buried all these arms in the back garden and bomb making equipment. That they dug up the garden. They got the warrants for that.
Maybe
So,
they
and
got information from him, and then all of a sudden they've got the information to go and. But when it comes to somebody's child, I'd fucking dig the place up myself. I don't care about his rights. What about the rights of my child? What about my rights?
I think when it comes to psychics and murder cases like that, I think you have to sort of take it a little bit tongue-in-cheek.
No, it wasn't just the psychics. The police had suspected this guy prior. But they
right.
didn't go on, because this guy had been in. He'd done a sexual assault before.
Yeah.
But they didn't, and it sort of followed the same MO, but they didn't quite know what he was guilty of and what he wasn't.
Yeah.
But they know that he'd been arrested for sexual assault before, and that had stuck. And so then the psychic, independently, somebody got these psychics in, and they said, not knowing the police background, because the police wouldn't divulge anything in case he ran. So they said to the police, look, or the parents then said to the police, we've employed psychics, and they'd come back and said, she's under the thing. Now, I don't know what's happened since, but
right, just hold that thought down. Because why don't we make that Friday show then?
Yeah, we can do that Friday.
In murder cases.
Yeah.
Should sidekicks be involved in murder cases?
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh.
Have they got anybody for that little girl?
Oh, that view. I think they arrested 2 men. If it's the same as the wee girl in Liverpool.
What happened in Liverpool?
Yeah.
Have they
actually charged them for it?
Yeah.
Good.
I know they wouldn't, but I really hope them bastards would swing.
Yeah. High security prison in Liverpool.
Poor little kid.
No. God bless his soul.
Poor child.
We'll do that for Friday. That'll be
Friday then.
Yeah, no problem.
Dad said, oh God, he's going to be ranting and raving, and he'll be,
do you know what?
shouting.
I'll be honest with you, I hate talking about murder. It just bores me. Oh, gee.
Oh. It's awful, that is.
Yes.
Especially where kids are involved. I mean, where children are involved, it's no murder. No murder is good. No murder is good.
No. I don't get me wrong. When somebody's in a fight and somebody gets killed by accident, like get punched them, and I can understand.
You're gonna hate what I'm gonna say, Dan. Murder is part of our human psyche.
Oh yeah.
It's just what humans are. We're horrible, nasty. We're a nasty race on this earth. We are. We're not killing each other. We're killing something else.
I've got a mate who killed somebody, and he was done for killing him, and he got 12, 14 years. But they couldn't even do it as manslaughter because he'd punched this guy, and this guy had gone over and smashed his head, and he died. But the intention wasn't to murder him; it was just a fight they got into.
Yeah.
And he ended up doing 12 or 14 years for that.
Manslaughter.
Wow.
But a really nice guy. But his
Yeah.
life
That's
was
quite
completely ruined.
heavy-handed. No,
Yeah,
like
well,
heavy-handed. The sentence was heavy-handed
this
because
is quite a few years
normal
ago now.
murderers don't get that.
No, this is going back sort of 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they
Only
changed the
young
law,
guys,
didn't they?
yeah, different then. But yeah, I mean, I saw him when he came out on that. Lovely man, but it's just an accident. Just an accident.
I know someone who ran his wife over, killed her on the drive, and then backed up the car, run over her a few times just to make sure she was dead, left her on the drive for 2 days before he handed himself in,
Really?
killed her, and everybody down that street, she lived down our street, we all hated her, and he went to prison. I think he did 8 years. He got murder. He served 8 years. And when he came out, we had a street party and all had a bit of a congratulations when he came out, and we celebrated him getting out because nobody, honestly, she was vile, absolutely
do you
vile.
know
That
Some
woman.
are, aren't they?
That actually reminds me of the murder recently. That honestly, it made me laugh. Right, really, heaven forbid. But it was the woman, and I laughed, and it was a nervous laugh. Yeah, a woman that murdered her husband, and when the officers knocked her door, obviously going through to see the husband and that, all she kept saying to him was, "I'm glad he's dead. I'm glad he done it. Like he's died." And then they were like that. Do you? Obviously, they must have been talking about resuscitating him and trying to revive him. She's like, "Don't revive him, please don't." She's like that. Let him
Trouble
die.
is, you
It'll be fine.
don't know what lives these people have had to live underneath in these households. He might have led her of a pig of a life,
Yeah.
you know. And then you think to yourself, well, you know,
There you
there's only so
go.
much person can take.
Hi, Gary.
Hi, you Gary. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Happy birthday, Gary.
Happy
Happy
birthday, mate.
birthday!
Happy
I'm
birthday
not singing
to
happy birthday
you.
again because that was like a street choir. The cats.
That was bad,
That
wasn't it?
choir.
That was bad, wasn't it?
But yeah, that's Friday shows, folks. Well, no.
Murder and mayhem and mysticism and a bit of human combustion thrown in.
When's human combustion? Was that next Tuesday? Is it human combustion?
That's this Tuesday. Sorry.
Yep.
Coolio.
Coolio beans, right, guys. I'm
Coolio.
going to
Cool
go and get
beans.
my dinner.
Cheers.
So, Parker, have you got any parting words?
What's that?
Have you got any parting words? You look
Bye.
too chillaxed. You look too chillaxed.
He looks like a fud.
I've done what? 2 12-hour days, then an 8-hour, and then a 6.
Oh, bloody hell, mate. I bet you're knackered. Well,
Mm.
you are, clearly.
Yeah. So
You
yeah,
get shut eye, mate. You get some shut eye. What time are you up to? Are you done late tomorrow as well?
off tomorrow, Thursday back on late, and then Friday late, then
Make
off
sure
the
you get
weekend, and then do my
get some
12-hour
sleep.
nights.
Get some sleep tomorrow. You need some kit.
Huge hugs.
Oh, they're being lovely now. She's saying huge hugs.
Yeah.
I told you.
And what a lovely thing have you got to say to Lois, Jamie?
What?
She's giving you huge hugs. So what are you going to say in return?
Play nicely.
I was going to say something, but no. She gave me some. Said have a good night's sleep, eat your dinner.
Do you know this is breaking my heart being nice to you, you wee Wanker?
I dread the day these two get together and we're out investigating with them. They're going to have punch-ups, aren't they? No?
It'll be violin music, roses, the whole lot. He's half asleep.
Thanks for that, yeah. But I made an effort to come on, so.
Yeah. You're a good boy.
Have you got any parting words, Lois?
For always, stay safe, be kind to each other.
Dan,
And
you got
tell a wee
any?
Wanker.
Bye.
Bye. That's it.
No, much love. Take care of each other. Look out for each other. Look after each other. Have a great week. Stay safe. And yeah, love to you all.
Terry says, "What's for breakfast?"
Oh, breakfast.
Breakfast. Dippy eggs on toast.
Breakfast.
Anyway,
What have
guys,
you got to say, Viv? What have you got to say? What are your last parting words of the
my
evening?
parting words are: keep your money in your pocket. Don't spend your money on things you don't need, because we're
Good
having
advice. Good advice.
we're going to have a tough couple of months coming up. So if you guys want to stay out ghost hunting, save your pennies, be a bit shrewd, look after yourself, put yourself first. And in saying that, have a great week, stay safe, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow, hopefully, on Simply Spooky at
On the
8
flip
p.m.
side, because tomorrow we've got a special one tomorrow, haven't we?
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Bye all. Take
We'll
care.